You said I'd be in bed by 11 o'clock.
You still can be. High and tight, buddy. High and tight.
Chin music, I guess. I don't know.
Maybe a haircut. We're not sure.
Yeah. What is that mug, Colson?
Deck the Hounds. It's a Christmas mug.
Okay.
It's full of Pinot Grigio.
Okay.
Shout out.
Sure.
My roommate has numerous mugs, and some of them were Christmas mugs. So.
Yeah, Joey, quit being so judgmental. Jeez.
Yeah, I mean, come on. I know it's not the season, but is it always the season for Christmas wine? Maybe.
This is Christmas wine now.
Yeah, Pinot Grigio seems like the least Christmassy of the wines to me somehow.
No, it's kind of it's
a mulled Pinot Grigio.
Yeah, so just prepare to.
It'll be great.
It'll be perfect. Yeah, so just prepare to.
Y'all motherfuckers don't watch us play throughout the year, to tell you the truth. I'm gonna be real with you, and I don't care if I get fined.
That train is off the track.
I feel like you can't just like jump through Neptune and be okay.
Just prepare to.
What the show needs is more dogs and bears and chickens and stuff.
Yeah, so just prepare to be awash in unbelievable goodness.
Welcome, Pacers fans. You were listening to the Undebeatables, your semi-ish weekly Pacers podcast. Today is May 22nd, and this is episode 593. Coming to you from Indianapolis, Indiana, I'm your host, Joey Gaffrida, the man behind the dials and season ticket holder. This show, it's Pacers offseason, but we're going to talk about the NBA playoffs. Joining me this show are all three of our analysts, coast to coast, like buttered toast. First, from the high school home of Jameson Brewer, Silver Spring, Maryland, it's the doctor, Jason Triplett.
What is up, Pacers fans? What is up, Undebeatables? I was trying to think of somebody to give a shout out to, but then I realized that I've been quarantining for like 2.5 weeks, so I haven't seen anyone. So, shout out to the outside world. Hopefully it's still there.
Shout out.
Just as good as it was before.
Mm-hmm. From Asheville, North Carolina. He's our in-house bartender, mixing up the drinks and the crappy jingles. John Colson.
What is up, Pacer Nation? I just want to say, Jason, that this is as good as the outside world gets. You're stuck with us. I apologize.
It's all right.
And from Boise, Idaho, out west, it's our enforcer, John Harper.
What is going on, fellas?
Also, palomas are delicious, by the way. I will fight the enforcer.
I think you've been basically responding to everything with that you'll fight him, so I'm fine. I'm fine with that.
I'll see him in like
I'd
a
watch
month.
that.
It'll be fun.
Going to war for greyhounds.
So, before
Shout
we
out
get into the
buses.
show, I'd like to remind you that...
Sorry.
Before we get into the show, I'd like to remind listeners that they can support us, the longest-running Pacers podcast, by heading over to patreon.com/undebeatables and support our show for as little as $1 per month. Some of the tiers get access to the Slack, which I've been using a lot for polls. I like the polls. We're getting the members to vote on how they think the series are going to turn out. And then this poll here, there's a 3-way tie to the question, is Chris Paul chumps? There was one vote for yes, 1 vote for, of course, 2 votes for his legacy as chumps. So that's the winner. Thanks, Colson, for chipping in there. So that's the winner. His legacy is chumps.
His legacy is chumps, man. Really.
But you'll notice that we're not going to be talking about, well, we may be talking about him today. We won't be talking about his team playing basketball right now because it is too late in the NBA season to be talking about a Chris Paul team. It is the conference finals, and they are kicking off. There's been a couple going on. Starting in the Western Conference, the number 3 seeded Golden State Warriors are up 2-0 over the Dallas Mavericks. I got to listen to part of the this past the second game here, and it was wild. Dallas has a 20-point lead before half, and ends up losing handily. It was crazy. I did not see that coming. I know Golden State can pour on the points quickly, but it seemed to me more of a Dallas losing the game than I mean, Golden State did their part.
Okay.
Golden
So
State.
you're blaming Dallas on
did
this and not giving Golden State credit?
No, some of both. But I'm saying, I'd say, if you're turning the knob between which one was the bigger factor, I think Dallas did enough to lose that game.
That 13
He had a
point
20-point lead.
Yeah, that 13-point third quarter, there's going to be plenty of blame to go around, right?
Yeah.
So you score.
So anyway, that one
you score over 70 in the first half, and you're up. It's by 20. I think you start shooting threes that many times, and you're hitting them in the first half, and you hit them, and then you start missing them in the second half. You got to do something else. I don't know. I think this is one of the largest collapses in NBA history. And I'm blaming.
That didn't involve Chris Paul.
Yeah, exactly. That did not involve Chris Paul.
Thank you.
And I'm gonna blame Dallas for this. I'm not giving that much credit to Golden State, even though they're a very well coached team and they made halftime adjustments and they have championship experience. I think this is solely on. You start missing threes. You got to have something else, and Dallas didn't have it.
What else are they gonna do though? They have, we're talking about the Dallas Mavericks here. There is no plan B. It's Luka hitting 35-footers.
Got to throw it in the paint to Shaq.
And Brunson making threes. That's the only way they can score enough points to keep up with Golden State. What are they gonna? They're gonna hit up, Kleba in the post.
They're gonna have Bertans assault Jordan Poole.
Yeah.
Oh, excellent point.
And also their coach is Jason Kidd, you got to remember.
Yeah,
so.
Exactly. Doncic was excellent. It's a big lift once they start dialing in that pesky Golden State Warrior D on people, because they can stop one guy, or at least slow him down substantially.
Yeah. And I mean, Doncic still creates open looks for, his teammates, but it's like you said, it's a make or miss type of thing. So if they're making 17 to 23s in a night, then they got a really good chance to win. But if they dip below that, it's going to be hard for them, I think, the rest of the series. But we'll see. It shifts back to Dallas now, and that team has been particularly good at home in this playoffs. So
yeah, Golden State annoyingly did so much damage in the paint against them. I mean, they were just in there, just owning them everywhere around the rim. 45 3 attempts for Dallas, just 28 for the Warriors, and they housed them.
Yeah, no, there was just so many. I'm gonna fake a three. I'm gonna get into the paint. I'm gonna throw it off to this other guy who's gonna dunk it on you. That's basically what their Golden State's offense ended up being in the second half, and it worked. The Mavs had no response, and it's just one of those things where you wonder whether this was Dallas's best chance, right? you have that kind of first half on the road. This collapse could be, the demise for them. Now, maybe they win both the next 2 games at home, sure, but this seemed like
Not
a
steal
real
the series,
chance.
though.
No, but this seemed
They
like a
needed
real
that game
chance
to take that series. Oh yeah.
If they wanted to steal the series, they had to take this game, and they had it in the first quarter or the first half, and then they just fell apart in the third. So it was they were down. They were up 2 at the end of the third after being up 20. Like that's just outrageous.
Yeah, they were up 2 and demoralized.
Yeah,
at the
exactly.
3.
Exactly. Actually, it was really funny listening to Reggie talk. He was talking about the comeback, and he kept talking about how there needs to be some sort of response, and Dallas is up like 7 or 8. He kept being like, Dallas has got to respond. They're gonna come back. They got to do something because this is getting out of control. And you're like, dude, they're still up 8. And he was totally right. Reggie knew what was going on. The flow of this was getting beyond their control, and they ended up losing this thing. So he might have jumped to a conclusion, but he jumped on the right conclusion. So
yeah, not a great outcome for your Mavs sweep prediction, Colson. Sorry about that.
Yeah, my internet went out, and then I predicted Mavs sweep.
I don't know, I'm guessing your Christmas Pinot Grigio did not go.
Cheers.
So that's the West, right? I mean, Golden State's certainly in the driver's seat, but the series is heading back to Dallas, as we discussed. In the East, it's both pretty interesting and also not as interesting as we'd like. But the Miami is up 2-1 in this one. It has been alternating games. Miami hammered the Celtics game 1. And Boston returned the favor game 2. And Miami wins game 3. A pretty tight one, 109-103. But I was traveling, did not get to catch this one, the game 3. Colson, did you catch this one?
Yeah, no.
What did you see there?
I mean, I think this is all the drama, right? I mean, game 3 is the drama. Miami goes into Boston, amazing crowd. They go up 20. They're just, Miami's just controlling everything. And, Tatum, their best player, is playing poorly. And then they start to chip away. And then Jimmy Butler goes down with an injury. And then you've got Marcus Smart going out with an injury. And then you've got Al Horford, and then you've got Jason Tatum going out with an injury. Like it just keeps going on. The drama keeps building. Smart comes out of the tunnel. Tatum comes out of the tunnel. They took a 20-point lead and they got it down to 1 with, I think, 6 minutes left in this game. Crowd was losing its mind, and Miami just closed. They just closed it out. Oladipo gets some credit for pressuring on the defensive end as a replacement for Jimmy Butler. But Bam Adebayo scored, over 30 points. I was surprised by this win. I really was. I thought Boston had this series in hand, and now I'm not sure.
Yeah, I mean, the resurgence of Bam, I think, is like the huge story here, right? He was basically silent the first couple games, so that's a good sign for the Heat. But yeah, I think that, this Boston team is tough, so this is going to go... I mean, I predicted this to go to the distance and went with Miami just because they had home court advantage. I mean, that's how even I think these teams are. So, yeah, it's been fun to watch so far.
Yeah, sort of. Game 3 was kind of fun. The other 2 were pretty blowouty. I'm hoping for... I think it's going to be a long series for sure. I just hope they're not all back and forth blowouts. That was not what I was looking for. There's going to be some good ones in here for sure.
I think it's going to be more... The rest of the series is going to be more like Game 3 than the first 2 games.
I think you're right. I hope you're right.
I mean, just because both of these teams will make adjustments and, like, the margin for error just gets slimmer. And
You've got two coaches that are
not
going
gonna
to
catch anybody
make adjustments and stuff.
by surprise.
Yeah, for sure.
What do you think, I guess, about the sort of total playoff experience? I mean, Golden State, in the West, obviously Golden State is probably the most prepared out of all these teams left with combined playoff experience. I know on the East, Boston's made a couple good runs, and I don't know, but this version of Miami
was in the
I
finals
guess
like 2 years
year
ago.
That seems, yes, I think that's correct.
I mean, essentially, yeah, their core is basically the same.
And
they've added Kyle Lowry and Victor Oladipo.
Right.
Yeah, and Spoelstra's obviously had a lot of coaching experience.
Right.
He's got a few rings under his
Right.
belt.
I mean,
Yeah.
So basically, what you're telling me is
I mean,
Dallas has no shot. Is what you're saying?
yes. Yes. But then, I mean, I don't know, I'm happy to see them take a shot, but like I think Jay said that they don't have a plan B, and without that, Steve Kerr and the Warriors aren't going to let them. They're going to adjust really well.
Yeah.
Golden State is, and I think in the East it's going to be a little more even. And there's multiple lanes of attack, and there's multiple adjustments you're going to make on defense, and it's going to be more of a chess, probably closer to like 4D chess than it is 2D.
Yeah, you sent over an interesting stat, and hopefully I'm not stepping on your toes for stat of the week, that the win probability for the championship, somehow Boston has a much higher chance of winning the whole thing than Miami does, but the series itself is 50-50. Is that right? Am I remembering that right?
Yeah, like Miami was favored just slightly in the series, but for the for who was going to win the finals, Boston had a better chance. So I think that the way I took that was it was matchup dependent, where Boston was a better matchup against Golden State than Miami would be. But
I mean, it says to me like if Boston wins the series, then they win their odds to win the title if they get past the series has to be like crazy high.
Yeah, well, and that was one of the things that we talked about before, which is, Golden State has never faced this kind of wing defense in its entire, run. This would be, a real challenge for them. That's interesting. I don't think Miami stands a chance against Golden State, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, certainly it's going to be a big lift for either of these teams against Golden State the way that they're playing if they come into this thing healthy. I mean, we're just in the part of the season where any imperfection you have as a team is going to be, on blast. I mean, this is just what these coaches do in these situations. That's why Dallas isn't looking so hot, right? Because they are an imperfect team. They just don't have the paint presence that they need to get easy buckets down the stretch. And as small as Golden State plays, they've always been able to get to the paint and finish around the rim in spite of their lack of size, which is part of what makes them so darn dangerous. I am still pulling for Boston in that series for that reason, because I really do think that matchup is intriguing with the Marcus Smart, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum matchup against Poole, Thompson, and Curry. Man, that could be a heck of a lot of fun if you like a good rock fight. But we'll see what happens. It's going to be a long series, and I think it can happen. And probably whichever team comes out is going to be darn beat up because they got to get through Rock Fight 1 before Rock Fight 2.
That's the thing. Other thing too is it would be sort of a better competition if both teams had a similar length series, versus a sweep versus a 7-game Rock Fight, but.
Now, Joey, correct me if I'm wrong here. Isn't the finals date? Aren't they set? The finals date set, no matter how long these series go.
Yeah, they've been doing that for a little bit, for some time now, and they're set. So I don't like that they do it that
I don't
way,
like that
but,
either. But basically, what happens is if you can knock this thing out early, if both of if both these series end early, we get to sit and wait a week or 10 days before the finals.
I mean, what is the probability? Like, how often do you get to the conference finals and you have two like 5-game series? Like that never.
Except
happens,
it's
right?
happened
Like,
a couple of years ago with the Cleveland and the Golden State, and then we had to wait 10 days. But yeah, I'm hoping that these things go longer than that.
I mean,
so June 2nd is when the finals start.
Yeah.
That's
it doesn't matter to me anyway. I mean, we wait 2 weeks for the Super Bowl. I mean, why not wait? What is it to wait another week for the finals? It is what it is.
Fair enough.
They want that TV money, man. It's part of the package.
Well, I mean, it's been fun. I mean, it's good. It's been a good postseason overall so far. I mean, in general, it's been pretty good stuff. You know, and there haven't been. You know, I think the first round it was all the higher seeded teams win. So, you know, not too many surprises out of this. You know,
Upsets
not
in
shocked
round
that
2 though.
Yeah. And you well, Colson, you personally have been upset every round, right?
Yes, sir.
You find a way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Find a.
I have a little
Life finds a way,
corner
right?
in my apartment where I just go and I get personally upset.
Okay.
Violent
That's good.
sobbing
Glad you contained it.
with a mirror.
Silent Sobbing, wasn't that was one of your albums in high school?
Silent sobbing with a mirror. That was.
Oh, Silent Sobbing with a mirror.
Yeah.
That's
That
right.
Oh, you said silent. I thought it was violent sobbing.
Oh no! Violent sobbing with a mirror was the name of our #1 hit.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So silent sobbing with a mirror was the name of the band.
was the
Was
album.
the album? Yeah, that's the album.
And then
So how-
weirdly, the A side single
Side
was
single was
Violent
violent sobbing. I mean, we're just basically we're just trying to counteract people's expectations. That's all I'm saying. That was my band, Deck the Hounds.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
My band, Deck the Hounds. Yeah.
All right, team. Anything else for these playoffs? Who you all rooting for? JT, who you got to win? Who you rooting for? Now, who do you think's gonna win?
I'm not rooting for anybody at this point.
All right,
I mean,
I like it.
I pick teams to win, and
Yeah,
I
sure.
suppose I'm rooting for those picks. But yeah, I don't know. I was cheering for the Suns because despite the fact that Chris Paul's legacy is chumps, I have a soft spot for Chris Paul, and I wanted to see him overcome his chumpiness, and he just couldn't do it.
It's too powerful, his chumpiness.
It's so sad. It's so sad. And Golden State's a nice story, I suppose, but how many rings does that?
Yeah, they
How many
got
times do I got to
3
hear that
in the
damn
last
story?
6 years or whatever. Yeah.
And I hate Boston and Miami. So.
Yeah. Well, and both of them have a ton of rings recently as well.
Yeah,
so
it's killing me rooting for Boston, but
all of these teams
even
have
worse to root
rings.
for Miami somehow.
Yeah.
Ugh.
And I try to root for Dallas, but it just feels empty. They're not going anywhere.
Yeah. I don't. I'm big. I think Luka's doing amazing things, but it's going to be real hard to get me real excited when Jason Kidd's at the helm.
Oh, 100%, right. And, Doncic is out there throwing up 40 and they can't win a game. It's like, geez, what the poor guy got to do,
Yep. Well, he, this is regardless of whatever happens, in this round. This has been a great experience for the franchise. I think just getting a nice playoff round and hopefully, reevaluating where they are and where they need to be and take another shot next year. But it's not over yet. Depends. Well, it depends on when this week gets posted. So maybe it's. All right. Well, we have lost Coulson, so I think it's a great time for a break.
Seems like
we'll be back.
Patch these technical difficulties.
Yeah. Or he may have rage quit. I don't know. He's sobbing in a corner
Yeah,
right now.
he's in a sobbing corner.
Right.
He's very upset.
All right. Well, we'll take a few, and we'll be back in the second half here.
Deck the Hounds.
All right.
That doesn't
all
even.
right,
That
well,
doesn't even like. It's not even a good joke. It doesn't even make sense.
It's not a play on
It's
anything.
like deck the
Starts with
halls.
H.
Like it's not.
What is
It's
that?
no. It doesn't. I'm really mad at this mug because like deck the halls is a thing. Hounds are a thing. I don't get it. I just don't get it.
So here's the thing. I feel like they went to somebody that worked at the company that makes the mugs and said, "Hey, I know you're 19 years old and you have been here for 6 weeks, but we put out a mug every year with the dog on it for Christmas, and we can't put out the same old bullshit we put on last year." And so they just did it.
So they
checked
put
the
up.
boxes off.
They have a picture of a wreath around a dog's head,
Yep.
and it's deck the Hounds.
We're checking the boxes off. Dog, check. Christmas stuff, check. Mug, check. Question mark, question mark, question mark.
Yeah, this
Profit.
seems like it was designed by an algorithm.
Yeah.
Yes.
Boo.
People like Christmas stuff. People like dogs.
People
There's
like
actually-
sort of. Not even pun. It's not
People
even a
like
pun.
people like
It's not a pun. It's not a
bad
play on
plays on
words.
words.
It's not. It's
not even a
barely
play on
a play on
words.
words. Barely. There's a book called Deck the Hounds.
Okay.
Maybe that's what
Oh.
the
It's an Andy Carpenter mystery featuring the titular criminal defense lawyer and his faithful golden retriever. I'm sure it's excellent.
Shit, sounds
Oh.
great.
I'm sure it won
was
the Newbery. I mean,
Did it involve punching a golden retriever?
I don't think so.
Okay.
That does not play well in the algorithm.
No, no. The cover is just lots of puppies with Santa hats. It's pretty adorable.
Yeah, I'm looking at this now too. There's a review.
What about look, deck the Pomeranians. Like that's more clever. It's closer to Halls. Deck the Pomeranians.
I mean, I think you're in the same ballpark, which is. But you did that in 10 seconds.
Exactly. I didn't even spend a lot of time on that. And somebody spent enough time on this to make a mug. And I'm very mad at them.
So, one thing, Harper, that I don't know that you mentioned or not, but so that is number 18 in the Andy Carpenter series.
That's correct. Yeah, this wasn't a one and done. This is episode 18.
No.
Yeah, it's.
Yeah. So.
I mean, you just
Andy
can't get enough
Carpenter
Andy Carpenter.
It's just a horrible name for a detective or whatever this guy is. It's like the most bland name you could come up with.
And it looks like all of these they're dog themed. Okay, so one of the other ones is called One Dog Night. Who Let the Dog Out? Rescued.
Oof.
Yes, here we go.
Look, we've done a ton of terrible titles. I don't think we've ever done that one.
Citizen K9.
Here's a sample paragraph for you. Horace and I have done mutually beneficial business in the past. He is said to be a genius at what he does, comma, but since I'm far from a genius at what he does, comma, I have no way to judge the accuracy of that assessment. So this is really highfalutin stuff here. So.
Oh my God, that's brilliant. Could you just send that over to me? Because I want to read that more.
Just plagiarize it.
Yeah, I just need
that
more.
into your own writing a little bit. Yeah.
That was amazing.
God,
it's hot. It was hot.
Terrible.
So, Joey, here's the only problem. You talk long enough that I'm out of my Christmas wine, so I gotta go. I'll be right back. Go ahead and start the show, but I gotta go ahead and repopulate my Deck the Hounds glass.
Repopulate. Go for it. Go forth and repopulate. Oh shit! I got a bunch of tabs of some dog writer now.
There's a breed called the Halden Hound, so they could have gone with Deck the Halden Hounds.
Sounds like a Twitter account needs to get made.
I'll get Colson right on it.
Great. You know what? If you set it up for him on his phone and like told him he was texting people, he'd be fine.
Wasn't that a joke from The Office?
No.
Maybe.
Oh, I don't know. Maybe. Maybe.
What's his head? The young guy set up a Twitter account for Creed, but it was just a Word document.
Oh, that's funny. We are back from the break. We want to get you with a stat of the week.
Joey, stat of the week.
So this one's from last year. I had picked this one out last summer. It's been almost a full year, but this one was about.
You've been sitting on this stat of the week for a year.
Wow. I've got a bucket of them, and this one rose to the top. It's been fermenting, and it finally got up to the top. So this one is from the FAA is involved. It's that kind of thing. This one's about some passengers that were flying from Indianapolis to Philadelphia, and it's about the combined fines that the two unruly passengers got. I'll be honest with you. This was I don't know. I am generally intrigued by people behaving badly, and I don't know. This fit the bill. Two passengers were $28,500 between the two of them from the FAA for their behavior. The two women, they had been they were sort of wearing masks, I think, but they were not wearing them properly. They've been repeatedly warned about that, and I think there's some flexibility there, but when at some point when they won't follow the directions, they were at this point they were asked to put them on properly, and they continued to play quote loud obscene music and used obscene language against flight attendants and passengers, which I think is where these turned from we'll put up with a little bit of nonsense to we get to control whether or not you get to go where you want to go. And at that point, the plane had been taxiing but was returned to the gate. They returned to the gate after the captain was notified of their behavior. When the captain informed the passenger she was being removed from the flight, she argued and used obscene language, and then and then punched a female passenger who was seated in front of her and was holding a baby.
Oh, okay.
Punched her in the back of the head. Coulson.
With a baby.
Yeah, holding and so the first passenger, the mom head puncher received an $18,500 fine, and her friend picked up a $10,000 fine.
So I just want to say that she's lucky that the enforcer was not on the flight, and also pacifist John Coulson, the bartender, probably would have hurt her. When you hit a mother holding a baby in the back of the head, my pacifist lines kind of go out the window. I'm out.
Bold stand you take there.
There's got to be a line on pacifism, right? I mean, I can sweep the walk before me and make sure I don't step on ants, or I could, just make sure that the person who's hitting women, holding children, stop doing what they're doing.
Yeah. So for context, do we know? I was gonna ask what the standard fine for misbehavior on a plane is, but I don't even know what that would mean. Like, is it like, what's the biggest fine people get? Like, if you go and knock on the pilot door like the entire flight, that's got to get you a fine. I don't know.
So the largest fine that I'm seeing proposed by the FAA was a civil penalty of $81,950 against a passenger who struck a flight attendant on the head, tried to open a cabin door, and headbutted, spit at, and tried to kick crew members and passengers, even after she was placed in flexible handcuffs.
Yeah, that sounds like a mix.
So $81,000, that's it?
But here's the thing.
I'm thinking I should
Jeff
start adding that
Bezos-
on the plate more often.
Like,
It sounds
But
cheap.
listen, like Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk could do that every day, and they wouldn't even notice it in their bank accounts.
It's true. That is.
heck, they might do that.
I
on
think
their
that's
private
probably what they
jets,
do.
and we would never know.
Actually,
Elon Musk might be doing weird stuff on his private jets, it turns out.
Oh, yeah,
Right.
yeah, exactly. Did you hear about that?
yeah.
I can guarantee he won't get on a commercial flight for $81,000. He wouldn't do that.
Right.
He said that there's no way that after 30 years of him being in the public spotlight that he would have been caught for anything like what this woman was suggesting he did. Which sounds a lot like an apology.
Sounds like a rich person's apology.
Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
Yeah.
the guy who owns Twitter needs some better PR people.
There's another one from Jason to put this in context. The passenger got a fine for $21,500 who apparently snuck their own liquor on the plane, was drinking that, which is against FAA regulations.
Everybody does that, though, so that's cool.
I mean, but it's still the rule.
Okay, fair enough.
That actually seems legitimately hard. You can't get liquids through security.
Oh, it's super easy. I'm sorry. Never mind.
Oh, this guy.
Okay.
He wouldn't stop drinking the alcohol and would not put a mask on. And
Oh, you got to drink it with the mask on. I mean, come on.
well, no, I mean, when you're not taking a drink, whatever. You're a pro at this. I think you know how to do this.
Right.
But yeah, was arguing with passengers and ultimately struck the passenger next to him on the head. So, apparently, head punching's a quick way to get fined on the plane.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to nut punch somebody on a plane. Everybody's sitting down. So
Yeah.
just probability. You're gonna hit a head before you hit anything else.
Here's what I'd like to say to Pacer Nation. If you're frustrated on a plane, don't punch someone. Just don't do it. It's not worth it.
This guy is
Yeah.
social justice warrior over here.
No, I mean, just like, look, go to sleep, take a nap, like, whatever. Like, take an Ambien, do a shot of whiskey.
I don't think that you should be encouraging the type of people who often hit others in the face to drink.
I just want people to go to
take
sleep
Ambien.
on the road when they're on the road.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't think alcohol
And also-
is that done.
I'd like to extend your recommendation to be on the plane. You're sort of frustrated.
Interesting.
Let's just
somewhere,
not, yeah.
and you want to punch somebody.
Stop punching people. Let's not do
Maybe
that.
take a step back.
So let's extend
Colson,
this to all of Pacer Nation. When you're traveling, or actually when you're just at home, don't punch people.
When you're being a human being.
It's not worth it.
And just so we're clear here, Colson, when you said like to drink these drinks, like did you want them to take an Ambien and take a shot of tequila?
Yeah.
and
Oh yeah. No, I want
drink
them
a
to
glass
pass out. I want them to like mix their drugs for sure. I want like some sort of
Another great idea for people
NyQuil
that
and alcohol,
Oh, yeah.
liquor. I just want them to black out, pass out. Yeah.
Perfect.
I
Alright.
want them tweeting like
Do we need
racist
we need a
things on
disclaimer
Twitter or
on this?
whatever.
Yeah, the statements expressed on this podcast do not reflect the opinions of the Undebeatables
The podcast.
LLC.
No. All I'm saying is, if you feel violent, go the fuck to sleep. Oh, I'm not allowed to say that. If you feel violent,
Oh, that
go to
you're
sleep.
not allowed to say. That's where we're drawing the line.
If you're feeling violent, go to sleep.
Thank you,
Listen to this
Dr. Colson.
show. And be tired by it.
All right. Well, I think we dispensed a lot of good information there.
Yeah. Just for the record, assaulting a flight crew member is punishable by up to 20 years in prison. So
As well it should be. Don't assault anyone. This is freaking. My advice is don't hit people. It's not worth it. Have a drink. Go
But
to
what
sleep.
if you own SpaceX?
Could have just left it.
The next topic we got for you, of course, is the Undegooglables.
Are we still recording? Okay. Sure. All right.
So what
you got?
The numbers keep going up on my recording.
What
so
you got?
I was hoping you had one first.
Oh,
this
I've got a ton of them. Try it again now. Is all I'm saying.
week. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, are we doing Undegooglables?
That was the plan.
Super excited.
You told us we had to, so
You said we signed up for it.
In the end, it's going to be better and more true than Google can give you.
Next segment we got for you is the Undegooglables. Mr. Colson, how can we help you this week?
So I've got a ton of questions. I always have a ton of questions. I have a long list of things that disturb me all the time, and then I come to you guys. One of the things that I was thinking about recently was juggernaut. The term juggernaut. I was thinking about. It sounds like astronaut, so it might be space, but nautical is a thing. And what's with jugger? And I don't know enough about this term, and I've got to come to my three of my smartest friends. So, juggernaut, go.
Is this the comic book character or just the
Just
term
the term,
in general?
term in general. If you want to add in the comic book character, you're welcome to. But
Okay.
Oh wait, I didn't know that there's a comic book character. There's a comic book character called
Oh, yeah.
Juggernaut. Okay.
Yeah.
But we're talking in the sense of a juggernaut as like a undefeatable foe.
yes,
At some level, right? Like a Goliath type opponent.
something that's undebeatable.
Right. We went back and forth between juggernauts and undebeatables.
This should have been our very first
It should
Undegooglable,
have
perhaps. Yeah.
So you're right in the sense that the not, the suffix not, I believe, is used for something that travels on some sort of vessel or ship. right? And this goes back to the Argonauts. Of,
Jason and
in Greek. My namesake and
JT and the Argonauts.
That's right. And then of course astronaut. Are there other naughts out there?
cosmonauts.
Cosmonaut. Okay. Yes. Those are the only I've ever heard of.
Yeah.
And Jugger.
Wait. I feel like I know some more.
How do you spell Juggernaut?
I spelled it in my notes as JUGGERNAUT, but I have no idea.
I believe
Okay.
that's right.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I put in my notes. So I don't understand what jugger would mean related to knots.
I'm trying to think. As I have, I don't know that I've encountered this in the written word in text very often. But it seems like it's not capitalized. It's a lowercase thing, right? So it's not like a proper noun necessarily.
I'd say that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Except unless it's the comic book character.
Right. Of course.
Right.
Important distinction there.
Mm-hmm.
You are juggernaut versus you are
Yes.
a juggernaut. Sure. Okay. Got it.
Right.
Got it.
But it may have made its way into a small j lexicography from, a Greek mythological character who was capital J at one point.
Who was riding on the jugger?
Riding on the old jugger.
We did talk about aeronautics. You're not an aeronaut, but
Ooh, Huguenots? Is that a thing? Or Huguenots a thing?
Yes.
That's a different kind of knot.
Different spelling.
Yeah, that's a
Well,
French.
but like, could a Huguenot be connected to a juggernaut based on a spelling error?
Yeah, the Huguenots were a French religious sect, no?
Something. They were
And
definitely French.
yeah, they were. Yeah, no, that sounds right to me. And they weren't connected to space or naval things, which actually suggests maybe that we don't know the what knots mean. That we might need to go back to the definition of knots. It's French. Is it about nautical miles? Is it about seafaring things? Is it about where do we get Huguenots?
So Huguenots is N-O-T-S.
Yeah, it's a different. I would guess that they're different.
Yeah.
Derivations.
Well, it just sounds like juggernauts.
Like the astronaut cosmonaut goes back to Greek.
Yeah.
For sure.
And
Okay.
it does share that same root with nautical miles.
Okay. Okay. All right.
For sure.
Because those
And
were the
I'm
only kind of
pretty-
ships they had. They weren't so good at the
I agree. I'm like 90% sure that juggernaut is spelled that way, like with the N-A-U-T, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the question is jugger. What the heck is a jugger? It could be a vessel. It could be a medium in which you transport, I guess, right? Like an astronaut, like they're going into space, right? I guess. So.
Yeah, jugger doesn't sound very French to me, even though the knot is Finnish, right? So
No, not as Greek.
okay,
Jason
well,
and the Argonauts.
okay, fair enough. But jugger sounds not Greek to me.
German or something. Jaeger.
Jaegernaut.
You travel by Jägermeister.
Colson has definitely been known to be a Jaeger.
I'm a Jaegernaut for sure.
On many evenings.
That's right. Maybe this evening.
Harper, what do you think? You got any guesses at this?
I mean, for sure Greek. I assume from what the definition is that it was a very large. I mean, I'm with you. It's either a mythological character that I know nothing about, or a large mythological transport vehicle of some stripe. Like it's the Titanic of ancient Greece.
Mm-hmm. Sure. Mm-hmm. That couldn't be taken down.
Yeah.
Like
and then
in naval
definitely
battles or
sank.
something like that. Sure. Right. For sure.
It's the Titanic.
Because those stories, yeah,
like because the captain had sex with his mom. Right. Yeah.
Right.
Gotcha.
Yeah, they
What
never
were you
make
gonna
the
say,
claim.
Joey? Sorry.
Yeah, I was in those stories. They never make the claim that it was like, too big to go astray, and then they're like, and it never failed.
Exactly. Yeah.
I do like that. I do like that idea of like the sort of like a Greek, sailing vessel or something. That.
Okay, so we're going ancient Greece, definitely with the premise of this. But when does Juggernaut become a part of the lexicon?
That's a good question.
You mean like the English lexicon?
Yeah.
English lexicon.
When does it get adopted into English?
When does it get adopted into English? Because I don't think Juggernaut is a Greek term. I think we're taking it from the Greek. That's my assumption.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah, it got lowercase at some point, right?
Mm-hmm.
Joey, when did they start making jugs? When did they start making jugs?
When did they start making jugs?
Yeah. What's a jug era?
We've had this conversation on this program before.
We have indeed.
I think in Mesopotamia.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean,
as soon as it's like the first thing.
Yeah. We needed it for.
We need to get water from A to B.
And importantly, booze, because the second that we sat down for long enough to farm anything,
we had to put a handle on it before we called it a jug. Look, it takes a while.
I don't.
Maybe we had this. We had a conversation about buckets. Sorry, you're right.
Jugs is different than buckets. Buckets, Botania.
When do you think the term came into parlance, Colson?
I'm guessing the Juggernaut is in. It's after the astronaut. I'm guessing this is a 70s term. America's 70s term. That's what I'm going with.
1970s.
Yep, 1970s. That's what I'm going with.
Interesting. I was gonna go with. This seems like a who wrote the Jabberwocky?
Lewis Carroll.
Lewis Carroll. This seems like a Lewis Carroll-ish type word.
Oh, frabjous day, Callooh Calais, he chortled in his joy.
Yeah, exactly.
I would be old.
You're going with Greek.
You'd lean towards. You're thinking Shakespeare.
I'd give it. Yeah, give a Shakespeare. Yeah.
Boy, I think Shakespeare's the wrong. Nah, that's a terrible guess.
Perfect.
Joey, what do you think?
Well, I'm looking at the answers.
Okay, cool. What do you got?
I'm going to sit out on this one. So it is none of those things.
Oh no!
So it is. So the term is sort of we were right on the term. It's like the literal or metaphorical force regarded as merciless, destructive, and unstoppable. But
you nailed that part.
The English usage originated in the mid-19th century, adapted from the Sanskrit word Jaganth, a title given to Krishna, meaning Lord of the World.
I'm getting the English
it's from,
loan word juggernaut is from the 17th century.
Well, we have
disagreement.
Yeah, in the same Wikipedia article. It says that.
Yeah, Charles Dickens used the term in the life and adventures of Martin Chuzzlewit.
Ooh, cool.
So before
Lewis Stevenson in
before
the
1970 is what you're
Yeah,
saying.
I'm pretty sure that the comic book character was around before the 1970s.
Ooh. I'm great at this game.
I was told that my answer was dumb, so at least you're doing better now.
I mean, your answer was dumb, by the way. There's no way it was from Greek. Or no, from Shakespeare. It was from Greek, but it wasn't from
you asked me for a time period, and I gave you the correct one. What do you want from me?
Yeah, no, you're wrong.
I said 15 or 1600s. It's the 17th century. It's 1600s.
Oh, man.
So I'm going to say I nailed it. Suck it, Colson.
Yeah. That's probably how all of these things should end. I should have a jingle that just says "Suck it, Colson" at the end of it.
Yeah, give me that button. I can't wait.
Interesting. So this is like Punch, the roundabout, the Eastern world, the Indians. Words.
In its current English usage, is a literal or metaphorical force regarded as merciless, destructive, and unstoppable.
And it's from what era?
The English, either the 17th or the mid-19th century, adapted from Sanskrit word from Jagannath, a title given to Krishna, meaning Lord of the World.
Joey, that's what I said at the beginning, right? It was from Krishna?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's basically...
We can go back and listen to the tape, but I'm pretty sure that's what I said.
From Merriam-Webster, I'm seeing that in the early 14th century, Franciscan missionary Friar Odoric brought to Europe the story of an enormous carriage that carried an image of the Hindu god Vishnu through the streets of India in religious processions.
Now that makes sense to me.
Odoric reported that some worshippers deliberately allowed themselves to be crushed beneath the vehicle's wheels as sacrifice to Vishnu. That story was likely an exaggeration or misinterpretation, but it spread throughout Europe, and they began using juggernaut to refer to any massive vehicle, such as a steam locomotive, and to any other enormous entity with powerful crushing capabilities.
That sounds older.
Either the
and 19th,
17th, or 14th century.
Perfect. I like the oldest thing. That sounds really accurate to me. Just gonna go with that.
Colson, I do have to back up your 1970s claim. There was a movie called Juggernaut, in which a blackmailer demands a huge ransom in exchange for information on how to disarm the 7 bombs he placed aboard the transatlantic liner Britannic.
Oh my goodness! Send me this link. I can't wait to watch it. I'm all in. It's right up my alley.
Yep. So,
how did it not juggernaut its way to an Oscar?
You'll have to watch it and tell me.
I'll let you know.
Yeah, please do.
Yep.
I know you don't watch movies, Joey. So
it stars Richard Harris, Omar Sharif, and David Hemmings.
Oh, my favorites.
The first appearance of Juggernaut, the Marvel character, was in X-Men number 12 in July of 1965.
See, I was closer on that.
He's big, and he runs through stuff.
Yeah, he's 6'10" and 900 pounds.
He's 900 pounds?
6'10".
That's a big boy.
I'll tell you what.
He runs
he
real
is a
fast,
menace
though, right?
In the paint, you can't do much about it. Got to keep him above the 3-point line. Well, team, I think we have departed, or is it departed? Imparted?
We have departed rational conversation many
Some time
episodes
ago.
ago.
Oh yeah. But that is our cue to get out of here. You can hit us up on social media until we are back next weekish. We're on Twitter at Undebeatables. We're on Facebook.com/The Undebeatables. The website is theundebeatables.com. There's a contact form there. You can use that to send us a message. And shout out at theundebeatables.com is our email address. And you can get at the merch at the undebeatables.com/store.
For the architect Donnie Walsh and our once and always Hall of Fame coach, Bobby Sicklander. Turn out the lights. The party is over. And did you send? Do you have any music, or do you want me to make up the music?
Can you beatbox for us? Just do that. Also, you should get that checked out.
Yeah, what remains of our audience thanks you.
That was something, right?
It was something.